Evan's growing up way too fast. Hello, folks. Welcome back to our reviews. Today I'm going to be reviewing the book Monster Blood 3, the third book from the Monster Blood franchise, and the very 29th book from OG62. The front cover is so good. I really like it. It is real, kind of weird, but at the same time, it's kind of intriguing, right? Like when we first, as readers or as viewers, when we first come across this front cover, it really makes one want to read this book because one may wonder how this whole thing happened, right? So basically, you have that giant figure, or at least what can be seen from that person, whether it be a boy or a girl. Basically, whoever this is, they're wearing some blue jeans, some Converse All-Star shoes, even have the logo on them. I think that's pretty good with the star and all. And they're red, and the sun is setting, so there's that real beautiful sky that is orange and yellowish. And the sun is setting, you can tell, and the whole orange glow is being reflected onto the grass, and some shadows are stretching, like shadows of the trees and the playground itself. I think that's just so beautiful. I really love it. So yeah, it's taking place in the middle of a playground, and you have a jungle gym, a slide, a swing. That is so beautiful. And basically, those bright colors, the orange, the green, and so on, are being contrasted with the darker green. This darker tone of green that is shown with the leaves on the trees. And yeah, basically on the foreground you have what seems to be a forest. And yeah, so it's getting darker. And the title is mostly dark green, right? And I really love it. You know how the dark green is framing this picture. The title, namely, I really love it. It is such a good front cover, and one may wonder how does this happen? How does this come to be? So one may be interested in reading the book. So now that we spoke a little bit about this front cover, let's get on to the book itself. So what is this book about? So again, we have the same characters, Evan from the previous books, our main one, his friend Andy, and also Conan the Barbarian, who was in the second book. And this time we have a new character. His name Kermit. Yeah, Kermit, like Kermit the Frog. A lot of people, whenever they think about that name, would attribute it to Kermit the Frog. But basically, here's how it is. Basically, Evan is gonna do some babysitting for a cousin of his. His name is Kermit. You guessed it. And he does that so that he can save up some money to go, and camp in the summer. I know that it's pretty, yeah, in that regard, kind of like another book, isn't it? Like there's another book where somebody had to do something unpleasant to get some money. I don't remember which one, off the top of my head. But yeah, it's a common thing in Goosebumps. So basically, he's gonna go there, and yeah, the end justifies the means because it's very bad. He's gonna go there to his aunt's house, and he's gonna babysit her son. He's gonna babysit his cousin, and Kermit is such a little brat. He's such a dislikable character, not as dislikable as or likable as Terror the Terrible from the Cuckoo Clock of Doom, the previous book, but he's still a brat because he always gets Andy in trouble. he always gets Andy into trouble for some reason. Even when he's nice to him, he's like, he'd be like, yeah, mom, yeah, mom, I think it wasn't that good. I mean, Andy didn't do such a good job. He yelled at me. He raised his voice at me. He looked at me funny or something. He'd always come up with something, even though nothing happened at all. But that's when everything goes smoothly, and most of the time it doesn't really, because Kermit is always getting into trouble, especially with Conan the Barbarian, and he kind of starts fights in a way, but he's also some kind of a genius, apparently. Yeah, that's what it says in the Goosebumps wiki website. But basically, running some he's running some experiments in his basement that he calls his lab, and basically he's pretending that he is good with the whole science thing. That he can create some molecules or some formulas. Some kind of substance, things that would make you grow up, or kind of that could make whatever it touches, it could make it I guess it would make it go smaller and smaller. Basically, it would make it very small and tiny at some point. Those kinds of things. She's really into these kinds of things, and yeah, it's pretty much it. And Andy is going there, and he's babysitting him, and he's having it real rough, and that's an understatement. So he's really tired of that all. He's really tired of it all, and he'd like to do something to him, but he doesn't really know what. And at some point, something very bad is gonna happen to Andy. I don't want to spoil the book or anything, but basically, did I just say Andy? I'm such a moron. It's just, it's not Andy, it's Evan. I keep confusing the two sometimes for some reason, but yeah, Evan, sorry, my bad, folks. Because Andy could be a boy too, right? It's also a boy name. It's also a boy's name. So yeah, sometimes I would get confused, but yeah, it's Evan. I know it now. Basically, I know that. Basically, Evan is gonna get into real bit deep trouble with thanks to Kermit, and basically he's gonna have real he's gonna be fed up with this whole babysitting thing. He's just gonna be so angry at Kermit, and yeah, he's gonna want to take revenge. He's gonna wanna come up with a way to pay him back for what he did to him. And funnily enough, this is when Andy decides to show up, and she's gonna be part of it. Actually, she's gonna show up a little bit before, and after this whole Kermit thing, this whole thing makes things turn to bad from worse. Basically, Andy's gonna be also part of it, and she's gonna be the one who's gonna suggest to use the monster blood on Kermit. And basically, they decide to do so, and they use the monster blood on Kermit, and something real, wow happens. Something amazing happens. So they decide to pay him back, but what happens is that somebody's gonna turn into a giant, obviously, as you can guess from the front cover. And I forgot to mention, but on the front cover, you also have the kind of monster blood with the green thing, with the green the green kind of goo that is the green slime, whatever you want to call it, the green goo, the green slime that is kind of oozing and pouring out of the can, and a glow in there. Yeah, you have it also near the slide. I didn't notice it at first, but now I do. Yeah, it's a pretty good thing too. Again, how wonderful this front cover is. The colors, the orange, the yellow. Wow, it's just amazing. Anyhow, listen, I'm getting ahead of myself once again. So what happens is that, that's basically what happens afterwards, that somebody's going to turn into a giant. I don't want to tell you who because I don't want to spoil the book for you or anything. I do think that it says so in the front, in the summary. It kind of spoils it a little bit. But I'm going to tell you when I'm going to read the summary beforehand so that those of you who haven't read this book yet are not going to get spoiled or anything. I'll read it at the very end as I usually do, before ending the video. I'll read the summary, but yeah, that's pretty much it. So basically, that's how things go. Somebody's going to turn into a giant, and that's basically the main premise that I just talked about, and that's basically the main idea of the book, the main idea. So what did I think about this book? This book, Monster Blood 3, was okay, was good, it was likable. I'm going to talk about the things I kind of liked about this book. First of all, I like the concept of the Monster Blood, and Evan and Andy are likable characters, so I pretty much enjoyed that. This additional character, Kermit, was very unlikable, though. He's a real jerk. He's a real brat. And I didn't like him that much. As a matter of fact, I didn't like him at all. He's kind of a bully from the kids in Goosebumps. You always have some bullies, especially the younger kids, like Tara and younger brothers and sisters. And you have Conan the Barbarian in this book too, and he keeps bullying Evan. That kind of annoyed me a little bit because he was part of the story before, like he was part of the Monster Blood thing, Monster Blood franchise, but I think Evan could have easily beaten him, he could have easily beaten him up, right? He could have easily beaten him up because, I don't know, bullies usually, seeing them get away with doing things like beating other kids up or doing some other pretty messed up things to them. It's just, it's good if there was some kind of a payback, but unfortunately there isn't really, in my opinion. There was one in the previous book, so to speak, but I'm not gonna spend too much time on that. But yeah, Conan the Barbarian in this book, I don't know, I just wasn't crazy about it. I wish just Evan put him back in his place, right? But yeah, Evan and Andy, the chemistry is pretty great. I really enjoyed that. Kermit was a selfish moron. I didn't like him at all. He's really annoying, and he's so arrogant and boastful. He's so boastful and haughty. He thinks he's so great, but he isn't really. I really didn't like that. What else? Yeah, I think that's pretty much it for the characters. I like that about the book. What else didn't I like, or did I like? Yeah, the book goes smoothly. It reads okay. It reads good. It's likable. It is pretty good. It reads by really. There's no real kind of main thing that happens in this book, apart from the front cover and the giant character. Whether it is a he or she, I'll let you find out for yourselves. But there's not really a lot to say about this book. It's mainly, yes, this giant character, and basically he's gonna try to escape and to find a place where to hide because being a giant in a small town is kind of something that people would tend to notice. So he really has to, or she really has to flee and run for their lives. That was pretty good, and the police at some point are involved, and they're gonna try to stop that person. I thought it was good, and the way it reads okay. It's okay. It's a good read. It's a nice read. It's not the most eventful Goosebumps book. It's kind of aimless at some point. You can clearly tell. The beginning is kind of slow, though. It takes it takes a while to get into the story itself. It's yeah, so it's like I think after a few chapters you'll get the main action that is gonna play out. But yeah, the beginning was kind of slow in my opinion. It just was a little bit too, yeah, it dragged by a little. Yeah, I didn't love that part of the book. The beginning was kind of slow and redundant a little bit with concepts that were already explored in the previous books. Like I said, Conan and so on. But yeah, I guess that's pretty much it. The ending was good. Yeah, the twist was okay. It was actually pretty good. Actually, the twist I really enjoyed. But yeah, it's a good book. Don't take it too seriously. It's a book that doesn't take itself too seriously. It is enjoyable. It's likable, really. I say that. It's not as good as Monster Blood 2, in my opinion. Monster Blood 2 was much better with the, what was his name? Cuddle the hamster, I think. Monster Blood, the first one, was definitely much better than this one, in my opinion, that is. Yeah, I really preferred Monster Blood. I really preferred the first Monster Blood book. Monster Blood 4, obviously it's number 62, so it's going to take me a while to get to that one, but I think was even better. So it's kind of the weakest in a way, but not in a bad way. Like, it's not a horrible book. I do recommend, especially for younger readers. I think if you're young, like 10 years of age, 11, or yeah, 12, 10, 11, 12, something along those lines, you're a young reader, and you decide to pick this book up, and you're wondering if you should read it, definitely because of the front cover. The front cover is kind of mysterious and ominous, so to speak, and intriguing. You'd want to read this book. I'd say go for it. I'm pretty sure that if you're a 10-year-old, you're going to love this book. You're going to love it. It's so good. It's everything a young kid would want in a Goosebumps book, I would say, and it really reads by. It flies by. It's good. It's a good book. It's likable. It's I said it's the weakest Monster Blood, but it's not the weakest. Meaning it's my least favorite. Basically, it doesn't mean that it's a bad book per se. It's not a weak book. Yeah, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it for what it was. It wasn't a bad book. It wasn't a great book either. It's just in the middle. And yeah, I still liked it. And I guess that's pretty much it because I keep repeating myself. So that must be a sign that this review needs to end soon. So basically, if I were to give that book a rating, I think I'd give it 7 out of 10 because of its aimlessness. Was a little bit aimless at some point, and one didn't really know where it was going. Some things are redundant in this book. Some stuff is also there isn't a lot of things. There aren't a lot of things taking place in this book. Let me tell you straight away. It's mostly just the same thing, but it's well explored, right? It's thoroughly explored. So that's a good thing about this book. And once you get into the action part, the main thing, it's yeah, it's just from then on it just it keeps being the same thing, but as it progresses, it opens up to something bigger. Yeah, I'll say that, right. I want to keep it as sketchy as I can. I don't want to spoil the book or anything, but that's pretty much it. So yeah, if I were to give this book a rating, I'd give it 7 out of 10. It's a pretty good book, and of course, if you haven't read the previous Monster Blood books, you should definitely do so because there might be a few spoilers ahead for you in this book if you haven't read the 2 previous ones, especially how they will turn out. But yeah, read the previous books and check it out, especially if you're a young reader. Go for it. I think you're gonna really enjoy this book. And again, the front cover is so good with the darker green and Evan. There's no Evan in this book. There's just yeah, there isn't anyone in the front cover, whether it be Evan or Andy or Conan the Barbarian or Kermit. It just yeah, just one might assume that they'd be on on the playground, but they aren't really. It's just this individual's feet and legs. Like I said, it could be anybody. It could be a he. It could be a she. It could be an adult. But I'm not gonna tell you who it is. It could be a child as well. I'll let you find out for yourselves. But yeah, just those big legs and feet, and that's it. No other character in the front cover. No other character on the front cover. So yeah, I'd give it 7 out of 10 if I were to rate this book, and yeah, that's pretty much it. 7 out of 10 for Monster Blood 3. What about you, folks? What did you think about Monster Blood 3? Did you like it? Did you hate it? Is it your favorite from the Goosebumps Monster Blood franchise? Is it your worst Goosebumps book from the Monster Blood franchise? Is it your favorite Goosebumps book? Is it your worst Goosebumps book? Please let me know in the comment section down below, folks. I can't wait to hear about what you have to say on this book, and yeah. In the meantime, stay safe, folks. Goodbye, take care. This whole channel reviews for you, signing off. And now I'm going to be reading the summary. It's the slime that never dies. Evan can't stand babysitting his genius cousin Kermit. Kermit refuses to play video games. He won't even play Frisbee. All he likes to do is hang out in the basement doing strange experiments and playing mean practical jokes on Evan and his friend Andy. But now Andy's found something that would teach Kermit a lesson once and for all. It's green, it's slimy, and it comes in a can marked Monster Blood.